Evening, everyone. Evening, everyone. Still sounding really quiet. Can you hear me okay at the back? Good sound check. Good stuff. I'll be watching those eyes. I know the last row is a prime spot for having a nap during the seminar, and how interesting it is. Before I do my stuff, just quickly on CVAs. My team are big fans of CVAs as well. And just to endorse what Keith has said, with a CVA, you're talking about saving a company and turning it around, which also has another positive impact on more suppliers and more customers and employment. And on occasion, of course, there's going to be some cutbacks and some people will be affected, but they'll be affected a lot less than if the business went into administration or liquidation. So just another reason why the turnaround side of insolvency is important and valuable. So Daryl Woodhouse, CEO of Advantage Business Partnerships, coaching, mentoring, training, consultancy firm. We do a bit of work in the turnaround space, helping companies to come out of CVAs positively by adding value to the right strategies, leadership, sales, marketing, business development, operational efficiencies. But actually, 85% of our work is working with early stage startups up to much larger established firms, up to 1,000 staff, 50 million turnover. So we're quite diverse in the companies that we work with. We've got a very diverse team of experienced professionals that have been there and done it and enjoy passing on what they've done to other people. This theme, the four-dimensional approach to targeted business development strategy, BDS for short, so we'll see that referred later on, building strategic partnership. As Jonathan said, I did do this talk last night. It took me about 40 minutes, but I'm doing it in 20 minutes today, hopefully. So apologies, because probably get about a third of the value. I'll try and cram in as much as I can. Just a quick show of hands, those of you that either run or are part of a great business today. Andy's unsure. HSBC. Oops. The point, as I asked at the start there, was those of you that are part of a great business today. We are in a tough economic climate, and being great today isn't quite enough. You do need to do more. You need to be creative and be more proactive. Make sure you've got the right team, develop the right team, and set yourself apart from your competitors, or even work with your competitors, and understanding where you've got different niches and how you can actually complement each other's services, becoming friends rather than enemies. As I said, we are in interesting times. Despite all the bad press that the banks get, all the bank bashing, 70% of FSB members use finance to support their business in the last 12 months. So if they're not getting it from the bank, they are getting it from somewhere. But the point is that finance is available, and the good guys, such as Andy, Ian and Paul, who my team are proud to work very closely with, if they can't help, they'll help you find help elsewhere. And those guys are particularly good at that. But you have to talk to them at the right time and get in there early enough, of course, and be open-minded to getting that advice. Keith touched on SME failure rates earlier. 50% of SMEs failing in year one, 95% in the first 5 years. There you go. So quite alarming, really. And when you look at the top reasons why SMEs fail, there's a bit of red herring here that I threw in. This is actually 9 top statistics that FSB research came up with. I've thrown in this one here, in bold and underline. That's partly the opinion of myself and our team from the business we work with, but many professional advisors and companies we work with agree with this point. Without going through all of them, you'll see I've underlined a number of key ones there, which we're going to touch on today. Just picking on the bottom one, failure to embrace new technology and developments. Isn't necessarily about IT and systems, it's also about social media, which is classed as technology and new developments, and actually how do you leverage those platforms and get the right platforms that will work for your business to actually generate more work and build up your brand. Got a fan of social media there, and an expert, I have to say, Charlie. underlining the self-belief and cost over investment. What I mean by that is the business owners who are very conscious of their cost and their expenditures, and when someone tries to sell them something or recommend another service, straight away it's how much is it going to cost. Our advice and approach is to forget about cost and look at actually what's it going to do for me and how it's going to add value for my business in the short and long term. If that value can be predicted to be higher than the cost, and you want to grow and improve your business, then do it. Whether that's a new website, online marketing, tax planning advice from your accountant, or outsourcing your finance to your accountant, having a business mentor and a training company work with you, do it. Because you're not going to do it on your own. Maybe you will, but it'll be a lot of extra work, longer hours, and it'll take. And the companies that do take the right advice and invest rather than spend money on cost, those are companies that are proving to be more successful. Even Richard Branson currently has 5 mentors. So it's not about just struggling businesses needing advice. There's also very successful businesses who can get advice and bring in outside advisors. Okay, so if you can read, don't worry about reading detail too much, I'll try and summarise. How many accountants have we got in the room? Okay, 3 accountants, thank you. Bank managers? 3, yeah, cool. How many people in the room supply businesses with services and products? Okay, good stuff. So taking suppliers as an example, 71% of businesses in this research went to suppliers for advice and help in their business over a 12-month period that was measured. Of that 71%, only 16% of the time did they find help very helpful. The banks, sorry guys, 64% of businesses went to their bank, 11% of the time they found it very helpful. Accountants, 75% of business went to their accountant, 31% of the time did they find it very helpful. Now of course the accountants in the room have much higher satisfaction rates, and they will be viewing this as an opportunity to win market share from their competitors that aren't being proactive with their advice. Going down the list, there's other sources that business turn to for advice. And what does it tell us? Basically, I see it as an opportunity, and it tells us that businesses are actively seeking advice and support in their business in lots of shapes and form, against lots of different people, and most of the time they've been disappointed or not getting the advice they hoped they would. So by working more closely together as business owners and professional advisors, and not just selling our own services, but looking at how we can help those businesses through our wider network and strategic partnerships, where we can really help those businesses be more successful, which means they're going to be more likely to recommend you, you've got better advocacy, they're more likely to stay in business, which means, and because they're going to grow, they're going to have bigger incomes and require more of your services, and so it goes on. We all know this stuff, it's not rocket science or anything radical, but very few of us apply this on a day-to-day basis and ensure that all of our teams are applying this as well. Again, this is an opportunity to improve and get better. So, talking about where does the 4-dimensional thing come in, I've started to touch on it around strategic partnerships and being more proactive with the existing resources and opportunities at our fingertips. And I've tried to articulate this with dimensions. So the 2-dimensional person, who many of us may have come across in the past, they might have some business contacts, they might be starting out in a new role or a new company or a new sector, they might be new to an area, and they might be very focused on telling you all about their services and selling you their products to yourself or your clients, kind of hard selling, double glazing perhaps. And the 2-dimensional person might give referrals to a couple of their best business friends during the course of the year, and they might receive a couple. Maybe they lunch a lot. I have a belief that if you're having lots of lunches with people, they're great fun and it's good, it's important for relationships, but actually if you converted that hour and a half, 2-hour meeting into a face-to-face coffee, you're going to spend a lot less of your time eating, and a lot more of your time actually talking, having more of a dialogue and really getting to know and building deeper relationships and actually strategizing your business development with that other person. Just an opinion. So now talking about business development from a third dimension perspective, we find that many people can be quite prejudiced about who they meet at events, for example. This person's a one-man band. I'm more interested in speaking to CEOs of much larger companies with more opportunity. Well, who are you to know at that point who is behind that sole trader or one-man band or one-woman band, until you actually know them. And we encourage people to start seeing people with these numbers behind them. So behind every bank manager, there's going to be potentially around 100 clients, depending on what layer of the bank they work in. Behind those clients, there's going to be other introducers and intermediaries and other contacts. There's going to be other team members that bank manager could recommend you to if you do a good job with them, whether that's helping their clients or referring them to other people in your network. Business centres, service offices, there could be 40 or more clients there, plus the people that they're connected to. The business coach mentor, there could be 100 businesses attached to an individual mentor in our team, plus there's a much broader network behind that as well. So you need to obviously talk to people and understand them better and build a relationship to get to know this and maximise those opportunities. It's just being a bit more broader in your thinking. Other things that come into this development from a third dimensional perspective, making sure you've got a quality elevator pitch that's slick and polished and helps people understand how you can directly help their clients, rather than just talking about jargon and products, which is often something that people do. It's about how you and your team portray your brand. It's about being targeted in your approach, such as strategies on LinkedIn, which don't take much time to get you in front of your ideal clients and approach them in a very nice and soft relationship selling way. It's about creating multiple touch points from LinkedIn to Twitter to networking events, newsletters, blogs, giving away free tools such as toolkits from KSA. And all of these create multiple touch points, and there's a rule of someone needs to look at you or touch you 7 times before they buy from you. I just listed 7, and there's a whole host more I could have listed. And plus, when you access a blog 3 or 4 times for a company, that's 3 or 4 touch points. So you're well over halfway towards your 7 touch points. Test where you give when you're looking to build your strategic partnerships and build better relationships in the professional service arena. You need to give sometimes before you get, and you need to test where you give to find out who's the most responsive and who's the best person to work with clients. So we encourage people again to work with a number of professionals or companies in one space and really identify who are the right people for your clients, the right personalities, right sector experience, right level of service, and then once you've really tested them, you can compare them to who else you've tested them against, and then you might spend more time with the one that came out trumps and actually gave you some work back. But you unfortunately, in the current environment, you have to give more often before someone will give to you. Having an open one-stop shop approach, as I touched on that earlier. When you see someone, don't just think about how you can sell your services, but how can you help them and add value for their business, for your services and your wider network. And sometimes, what that means then is if you're able to refer them to a helpful bank manager in your network, because you've identified that that's a good time for them and something they need. They might not want your services there and then, but when the bank manager helps them with that short-term immediate needs, because you've got a relationship with that bank manager, which you strengthen by giving them some client work, when they get to know them more later on, they can identify that they do actually need your service, and that third-party endorsement is far more valuable than you trying to pitch directly to someone yourself, and they can become a client for you later on. But if you hadn't have had that open approach in the first place, it would never have come back to you, and you wouldn't have enhanced the relationship. Being a diligent communicator. Some of you know I'm a bit OCD about having a meeting with someone, and then we have a very pleasant discussion, agree some follow-up, and nothing happens after it, after I've done my bit.